I'm ready, slut.
That might stay. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the After Dark podcast where we debate topics that are none of our business. We got the full crew in the building tonight. It's your boy Mike. We got Tact OP Chad in the building. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. We got Big Stir up there. You know how he does it. And man, let's jump right into it, man, because I'm honestly ready to go. We've had some technical difficulties, but we're ready to fly right through it. How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Sterling, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just going with the going motion in the ocean type shit. So
Motion of
just
the ocean. I
spinning
love it.
along.
Word up. So, over the weekend, we got some big news coming in. We got a little sports for you. Andrew Wiggins, plays for the Golden State Warriors. He's been absent from the team for about a month, and no one really knew why. They kept saying it's for personal reasons, but there's a rumor going out that his best friend cheated with his wife, and the kids may not be his. The Maury show, You Are Not the Father. He has been raising kids that are not his. I really just want to get, initial thoughts from you guys. Sterling, I'll let you roll it off first.
Well, excuse me. I mean, first things first. Obviously, I feel bad for the guy, even if that is true, because I mean, there's no condoning cheating in any regard whatsoever, right? Um, especially if you got kids with them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just like absurd. But I can understand like for her how easy it may have been if that were the case. Like this is all completely hypothetical. Um, and like I completely understand how easy it was for her to like get away with doing something like that. Um, so I mean he's on the road for 41 games out of the year, not including the playoffs, and they're playing back to back days. They're I mean all the time. And granted, like who knows what their dynamic is in their relationship and what maybe it's a bit different. But on my end of things, like I mean, when you're young, and I guess if you're not in a full relationship and you ain't got kids, like the cheating can almost not be forgiven, but it's just kind of like okay, like they did that, keep moving, like you guys break apart, whatever. But then it's like you got children, bro. You got freaking children, and it's like yeah, and it's his best friend. Like that ain't my boy. I tell you that right now. That's not my boy. He is not good, and he's gonna catch the meanest looks. He ain't never gonna be able to walk into the Warriors arena ever again, type shit. So, I mean, I don't really have like a ton of thoughts about it, but I just like I mean, it's obviously wrong on her behalf. I think it's just really like you're living the dream that not every little girl, but every woman on the planet wants to be able to do is basically have children with a very successful basketball player or athlete and never have to worry about a damn thing for the rest of their life. She literally won the lottery. She got the meal ticket. It's done and dusted. But I mean, everybody has different motives. Everybody has things that make them happy. A bit different. Some people are a little fucked up, and that might be the case with her. And I'm not trying to say she did or didn't do it, but until those things are confirmed, but definitely not the sweetest thing to hear about it. And let me finish my point with the Warriors are going to need Andrew Wiggins to even contend for a championship this year. For those that are sports fans watching, they are going to need him. He needs to get off his ass and get the fuck back on the court. Be like, fuck you, bitch. Keep it moving. Because that's all he can do. There's nothing else. He gets paid to play basketball. It's not as bad as what's his name, Ben Simmons. But bro, like your team is like about to be in the playing game. Like, bro, get off the bit. Like, get here, play. We need you. We can't win a road game. But that's my thoughts on that. I want the Warriors to do really well. I want them to compete for a championship as well. So I'm a bit biased, but I get it. He's got to be able to make sure his mental's right, and mental health is important, especially particularly in black men where it's not talked about a lot. But like, bro, you've been out for like a month and a half. Like, you got over your little ankle injury or whatever it was. Like, you need to get your ass back on the saddle. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, I mean, a few things kind of come to mind when I first heard this topic, and like you reiterated, it's really just kind of fucked up and just a messed up situation in general. that Andrew Wiggins has to go through this, and I really feel for him, and I can understand how he's just probably like, I mean, I can't understand. Like, I don't know what that feels like. That's wild, and one of the questions that come to mind to me too is, you think that the wife knew that the kids wasn't his? Like, do they always know that when that happens? I guess if they have, I mean, I feel like you should be able to know when you look at the kid too. Like, I don't know, I haven't seen any pictures of Andrew Wiggins' kids, so I can't tell if they like look alike or nothing like that of that nature.
Yeah.
But for the friend, man, like that's just a low blow, and that's just like you said, that ain't no real boy. It's really messed up.
That's not my boy, bro.
Nah,
That's it.
nah,
That is not my boy.
nah. But I mean, like, if you already at the same time, if you already did the deed, and his boy is probably just a regular dude out there. He ain't Andrew Wiggins. If you already did the deed and the kids are there, like, do you tell your boy, or do you let the kids have the best life that they possibly could have, because they are, essentially set for life, living with Andrew Wiggins. So, I mean, also kind of have to, as messed up it is, kind of have to feel for him too, because one, we don't know if he knows that those are his kids, and if he does know, then he probably took the decision to take a back seat and just let the kids have the better life, because he knows that he could never give them those type of opportunities, which is also just a messed up situation for his mental on that front too. But I also agree with you, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a month, and he's about to get a couple months off. And if he doesn't come back to the playoffs, it's like, look, man, that is a messed up situation. We feel for you. Take a week, take 2 weeks, bro. But rest of the year, rest of the month, and is he still getting paid? That ain't real life. You know what I'm saying? If I'm out here, if someone cheated with my hypothetical girl and I told my boss, hey, man, she might give me a day and then get back out there. But how am I just going to have, like, let me just take off the rest of the quarter and just chill off of that one real quick, because, my mental's real messed up. They would tell me,
You'd be laid the hell off.
Laid the hell off. They'd give me some mental health classes. Here's this counseling. We'll pay for like a little $10 a month counseling, online counseling type pool or something. I don't know, but he's got to get back out there. It's crunch time. Like you said, they can, if Andrew Wiggins comes back up, they can compete for a championship. I get it. It's hard, bro, but you only got a couple months left, and you got a whole off season to figure out if those kids are yours and figure out how you want to proceed with that. So, I mean, Chad, do you have what's your initial thoughts on that?
I don't really know basketball that well, but the situation is pretty messed up. This whole time I was just thinking, like, yo, what if his boy was a guy in the Warriors and that's why he's been gone this whole time? Oh, that would suck. That would suck.
That would suck.
But yeah, it's weird. Like, you think that with kids you could tell when it's yours or when it's not yours. But like back during Christmas, my girlfriend and I posted a picture of us with her nephew. Everyone thought that kid was mine. I was like, this kid does not look mixed at all. It looks full-blown Asian. Like, why does everyone think it's mine? So there's that, like, suspension of disbelief. And I don't know how old his kids are, but maybe their looks caught up to him, and that's what started making him doubt. Maybe they got in a fight or something. But, yeah, I think we're all in agreement that, like, the month is a long time to be gone from work. Like, I could see maybe like if he was filing for divorce, how that could get pretty sticky. But even then, it's a lot of just like fill out the paperwork and then wait. So,
well, here's the question for you guys. He's loved these kids. He's taken care of these kids. He's always thought of them as his own. So to figure out that they're no longer his kids, I can imagine that it's not like the love just disappears instantly. Like, that's got to be a sticky situation.
Yeah.
If you're in that situation, what are you guys doing? Are you still claiming those as your kids, or how are you even going about that situation?
I actually saw a crazy story on something similar.
Really?
Where this dude was raising some other dude's kids, and the wife like left him and went with the other dude, and then wanted the kids, and he was just like, "No, I'm the father. They're my kids." And like, I don't. It's state by state basis, but a lot of states say like, whoever is the person in the life and like raised them is considered the father. They don't go by blood.
I know that if you're a lot of states too, if you're the father on the birth certificate, regardless of who the biological dad is, you have to pay the child support. Like you're legally obligated.
Oh, well,
Even if you find out that that's no longer your kids, like you would have to get that legally removed off their birth certificate.
That's
to
crazy.
Not file to not have the child support.
in this story, it worked out where when the lady left, he kept the kids that weren't his, and he got child support for them.
Oh, what a boss! That's a boss. What are you
Hey,
doing,
you got the
Sterling?
bag. I mean, honestly, bro, like I'm gonna tell you right now, if I like married to the girl or like I got kids with a girl, whatever it is, and I'm like a high profile athlete, like someone like Andrew Wiggins, not high profile, but like mid profile guy that's important to the success of a team. Bro, first off, like she's getting cut off. Like, and for me, just period. Like, you're not gonna see the kids, or like I will make sure that you don't see the children, and you're gonna have like one visit a month type shit. And like for all the ladies out there, it's gonna be like, oh, that's so messed up. Like, I'm being 100%. Like, it's your fault. Like, it's your fault. It ain't nobody else's fault but yours. Secondly, if they weren't my kids, technically, like biologically, but I've been providing for them since the day they were born, as if they were. Once again, it goes back to the point. It's like, dude, that's a father. Like, there's probably people you guys know in your life where, they didn't have like the greatest home life or anything like that, and like they're like, this guy was like one of these coaches was basically like my dad, and like blah blah blah, that type of stuff. Not even like that metaphorical stuff where it's like, oh, like how we talk about Miss Nikki's like a second mom type of thing. Like these people were like basically like, hey, I needed to eat. They got me food. Like they got me this, and this to make sure I was cool. So first things first, I'm getting that woman away from those kids. She ain't gonna touch them. She ain't gonna have a chance to really even explain herself until they're 18 years old. Secondly, I'm gonna make sure that I continue to care for the kids because they know me as their dad, right? Like, I mean, that's what they know. And then when they come 18, whenever they get old enough to realize, like, okay, like I would tell them, and they just have to live with it. But they're not
So
children.
you're
And
not
people
telling
are
them from the
different.
jump?
No, if they're not
I
old,
don't
if
think
they're
from the
like
jump
5
they
years,
could understand that though, depending on how old they are.
but no,
I would.
they're. I don't think they'd have the emotional capacity and the mental capacity to actually fathom it. Because think about it, when you're like 5 years old, you don't even know what cheating is. Let's just be
Yeah,
honest. You
but you
don't
don't
even
have to
know
get
what
into
cheating
the
is.
works. I mean, I'm someone who believes that, you should paint your significant other in the best light possible to
Unless
your
they do
kids
this.
because yeah, unless the kid unless they have negative uh tension between the kids, I feel like you should paint that person in the best light possible because it's really important for the kids to have that strong relationship with both parents. So for me, if I'm in that situation, obviously I'm not staying with the girl, like we're splitting up, but I do think it is still important that, they get the love from the mom just as much as they get the love from me. And because, they're gonna be my kids. And the one person that I would make sure is not around those kids is the biological father. I'd be like, look, or
Yep.
or he's in there for limited capacity. And I understand y'all both say like, the kids can't really understand that, but I feel like kids have a little more mental strength and aptitude than, we give them credit for. And we don't have to get into the works. Like, you don't have to go over there. Oh, mom was, getting her back broken by Uncle Mike type shit. You ain't got to say none of that. You can just be like, look, man, you can sit them down. I just want to let you know that, this man over here, he's your biological dad, but I am your father. Like, I will always be your father. I'll always
Luke,
take
I'm your
care of you.
father.
Luke, I am your father for sure. I'm always going to take care of you type stuff. And, this guy's going to be in your life. I think it's important that you do know and have a relationship with your biological father, but
Fuck that.
you're staying with me. And your wife, like, she's gonna be somewhere else. We're just doing a different thing, but nothing's gonna change. It's always gonna be the same. And you just gotta be as cordial as possible, even though that's super hard. In front of those kids, you just gotta be cordial because that's a sticky situation, and you want to make sure that it's sticky for you guys and not for those kids, man, because they have a long life to deal with that, and that can be kind of messy.
No, you're a better person than I am. If that happened
Yeah,
to me,
100%.
for one, she's out. Two, the kids are staying with me. 3, I'm bad mouthing the shit out of both of them. I'll give them the chance. I'll be like, yo, okay, this is what happened. Your mom cheated on me with my best friend. It's fucked up. I know you don't understand that yet, but
Uncle Ricky, you guys know Uncle Ricky?
but you'll soon understand that. If you want to stay with me, go ahead. If you want to stay with her, that's your choice. But fuck those two. And if I'm in that situation where I'm like the basketball player making that much money, yeah, I'm manipulative. I'm gonna spoil the hell out of them. Be like, you want to stay here in the mansion, or you want to go over there where they're struggling because she couldn't be faithful and now she's living on the streets. Go for it.
Oh man, look, I mean, without beating a dead horse here, because I do think this is like obviously something that is not talked about a lot. Because obviously, I feel like because we're not celebrities, right? Obviously, maybe one day, you never know. But we're not celebrities, and for some reason, in like the famous, when you're famous, when you have that, you're in that circle. I feel like there's a lot of polygamy in that. Just to be honest.
Oh, 100%.
And maybe I mean I believe that with a lot of really big athletes right now that I won't name names, but really big athletes right now that I know their wife is seeing other people, just like they're probably swinging around and seeing a shit ton of other women too. But let's think about it like that. Like maybe he was one of the very few people in his whole like friend group that might be pro athletes that isn't polygamous, and he's very faithful and he does this. But maybe like his girl, like she knew all these other people were polygamous. She's like, oh, let me just give it a shot. Let me just give it.
But they're married. They
That's
should
not
have had that
polygamous,
type
though.
of.
That's just cheating.
They
They're
should have
they're
had
not
that
married.
type
That's
of
his
country.
girlfriend, that's all.
Oh, that's his girlfriend?
Yeah, they're not married.
That's but this.
I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure.
Okay, well, that's cheating. Polygamous is a mutual agreement
Yeah.
between two people in a relationship. Hey, we're gonna sleep with other people, but at the end of the night we come back to each other. If you just over here like I'm in a polygamous relationship, but my boyfriend is in a monogamous relationship, you just cheating, sweetie. Like you ain't out here in a polygamous relationship. That's wild. But I know some guys out here gonna be using that one though.
But Sterling did
We're
put up a
naturally
good
polygamous,
point
though.
of like we don't know how good of a person this guy is either. It could have been that type of situation where like, you know, he might have been out there cheating too, and it's just that she got pregnant. So
yeah, I mean that's true too, but it's also the best friend piece.
yeah, the best friend piece.
That's
does.
what
That's
it makes
the-
it
that's
real
the-
messy. Like,
That's what makes it
Yeah.
vindictive.
yeah.
And then I'm gonna be vindictive.
So can you ever be friends with that guy again?
No.
No shot. No shot. No shot. In
Honestly,
hell.
it kind of depends on how
Like
long
it's like,
we're
bro,
dating.
you see
though.
my wife, you see my girl's insides. Like you've been
You
inside.
see-
Like not to
you
get
been
graphic.
inside, bro. You got
Like,
keys,
you've
man.
been-
You got keys, bro. You know where the spare keys are under the mat.
Like you got the spare keys and you were able to break into the house. You got there. That's what, like, for me, like it would be like deaded. And I kind of want to back up my statement earlier about like saying like, oh, she's gone type of thing, because I did resonate a little bit with what you were saying, Michael. Where it was like, oh, like, you know, I want to make sure they still have a relationship with their mom because that's still their mom, you know. But I ain't gonna lie to you, like Uncle Ricky or Uncle Bobby, Uncle whatever the fuck his name is, like he ain't gonna be you like. I mean, I'd be like, oh, this is your biological dad, bro, but we do not fuck with him. Like I do not fuck with him. You can fuck with him all you want, but I don't fuck with him. Like if you guys want to go over to Uncle Bobby's house, guess what? I'll drop you off. And I'll say bye, and I'll be back in 2 hours.
Nah, you
2
gotta
hours. That's all
order
you got.
Uber. Ain't nobody dropping you off over there.
You two are better
Yeah, I don't
people
wanna
than
see
me,
his
man.
face.
Their mom can be my new girlfriend, but fuck her.
I
Nah,
mean, you
but
don't.
without
But I mean, it's also like it's not even our choice. It's got to be like the courts will decide where the kids go at the end of the day. So like,
with Andrew Wiggins, because he's got too much bread not to give the damn kid to him.
I don't
But he
know. They
can't be
could
a real father,
probably
but
pull
apparently he
the
is a good-
spiel of because he's an athlete, he's traveling all the time and can't be home with the kids.
So
yeah.
you're gonna make this man. It's a screwed up situation because it's like everybody. Damn, let me not get into my bag too much, but like
Nah, get in your bag.
every woman
Yo,
wants a
hold
man that
foot
makes
in
a lot
that
of
bag,
money.
yo.
every woman desires a man that makes a lot of money. That's a fact. I don't know any girl that's like, oh well, like I mean he's super broke and I'm cool with it. Like I want that. Like that's what I'm looking for. Like no,
Yo,
nobody's
but
looking for
here's
that.
the thing though. She also makes a lot of money.
Oh, what'd she do?
She had kids with the guy that made a lot of money. So
Exactly.
she's about
She
to get
already
child
won.
support. So
She
she
already
also,
won.
Andrew Wiggins dropped 20 points. Guess what? She dropped 20 points that night too. From
No,
now
it's
on.
half. She
Yep.
dropped 10.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's half. She
Well,
dropped 10 points.
well,
So she's just as
the
successful.
the thing is that like I think that she like I think if he were to better get the kids and then they would have that like they wouldn't ask for child like I don't even think he'd accept it, but he'd probably like, oh give me some child support. But either way, it's like
I would
if
accept
he
it.
got the kids, yeah, if he got the kids and they'd be like, hey, you need to pay this much of child support a month, ma'am. They'd be like, oh, I don't have a job. Well, get one. It's like, but the thing is, her income, she has zero income whatsoever if she's not doing a side hustle, anything. He is all the income. Right now, let me make sure my facts are right here because I want to make sure I'm not skipping a beat here.
Sterling
He
with the
makes
facts.
$31.5 million
Scoop.
And guess
a
what?
year.
Whenever she starts getting a job, that's just money that could have been to the kids if they're together. So I still want half.
True.
And so, like I said, without beating a dead horse, I think she's in the wrong. I think he has every right to be as honestly as rude and as like as just an asshole to her as he wants to be, just to be 100% honest with you. But if he doesn't do that, which I think he's a good guy from the outside looking in, I don't know if he is or he isn't, but he seems like a good down to earth guy. This probably took a massive toll on him because it is like a personality thing. When you have an ego naturally, you have an ego as a man, especially as a top athlete. You're gonna have an ego when something like this happens to you. But he's probably a better man than me for taking this much time because I'd be like, nah, fuck this. I'm jumping ship. Best of luck to you, honey, because you ain't gonna see them kids for a minute. You gonna have to take a hiatus, a real hiatus.
I think the
but
biggest
I
takeaway
don't know
from
if-
this is that once you make over 6 figures and you start sleeping around with people, hire a good divorce attorney.
Have one on.
Facts.
Have one on deck.
Facts.
On retainer, bro. Have that motherfucker on retainer because there ain't no reason not to. Do you have any other final thoughts, Mike?
No,
Anything?
no, I think we hit that one
Well-
pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, just without like, because we don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse to death, but jumping into like something a little bit different because we don't really talk a lot about this, like this type of stuff and being like politics. But I don't know if it even happened. I haven't looked at the update on it at this point. But
It
Trump
didn't.
apparently it didn't happen. But the whole ideology was that Trump said that he may be arrested for obviously his fraud more or less, but he was predicting that he'd be arrested on today, the day that we filmed this podcast. Ideally, like we don't want to get too deep into this. Like you said, we try to stay away from politics. We don't look. Everybody's got their political affiliations. We're cool with it either way. But the question I'd ask is, one, being a former president to be able to go to jail or get arrested is already crazy. One, if you are an American citizen, right? Maybe someone that did or didn't vote for Trump. If you voted in the election that he got elected in, right? What are your thoughts? Like you guys, I mean, in particular, obviously I'm talking to you, but what are you guys' thoughts and like how this could be impactful towards like the future of presidencies and knowing that someone that like has been proven legally to have done a lot of wrong, but still to this point it's taken this long to get him under arrest if that were to ever happen. Like, what are your thoughts on it? What's like I guess what's the word I'm looking for, guys? The outlook on the next presidents and what type of power and what type of leniency they get against the laws, even if it's just taxes.
Let me tell you, Sterling, this is going to affect absolutely nothing. Nothing's going to change. Nothing. It's gonna make the news if it happens. Everyone's going to talk about it for about a week, and then it's just going to go away. The only thing I think this hurts is his run for presidency for the next campaign.
2024. Yeah, it's coming up soon too.
That's
The
kind of where I
campaign's starting, like,
disagree,
August.
though. I don't know. That's what I kind of disagree with. I feel like this does nothing but help his candidacy because I really don't see what the motive is to try and get him. One, it's a misdemeanor charge, so this is just like a slap on the wrist type charge, anyways.
Oh, I was going from like the presidency type of standpoint, like laws being made against it or
Oh,
anything.
okay. I got
Yeah.
you. Because I was gonna say, as far as Trump running again, I really don't understand the motive of why they're trying to push this so hard. Because I feel like, to me, Trump is right back in that spotlight again. Like, in the efforts of trying to get that a misdemeanor charge on him, he's just in the news cycle constantly. And I feel like this is what Trump was feeding for. This is what he needed, and now he's got his juice. Now he kind of has a story to go right back onto. So I really don't understand like what the motive is on that front and why they would really push that so hard. If
Oh,
the
I think it's
whole
because if you do get convicted, if you can get it up past a misdemeanor charge, you can't run for president.
no, if you can run for president as a convicted felon, you can even run for president in prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's why I just don't understand, because I feel like, and Trump, being the smart businessman that he is, because he is a smart businessman, and he thinks about all the steps. He went and told us, the reason why he told us this was going to happen is because now when he goes back, he could say, look, I told you exactly what their motives are, and look at it play through. So either they go through with it, and now people are enraged because Trump told them that this was going to happen. They're like, oh, look, this is now happening. Or they kind of push back and they don't go after it, and he's still in the clear, and he has no charges. So I feel like it's really kind of a win-win for Trump in any situation. I don't see how like this helps the Democrats or Biden or whoever will eventually run on that front.
I
But-
disagree,
Okay, let me hear
but
it.
not getting too much into politics. Right now, Trump's main competitor is Ron DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
And all the
Radical.
people that were like hardcore voting for Trump in the last election are now swinging towards Ron. And what made the last election close is that like middle ground of people are like, I might go Trump, I might go Republican, I might go Democrat. So I feel as though the people that are in that middle are somewhat sensible enough to say like, oh man, this guy is getting charged with all this, he's getting convicted. I'll probably just vote Democrat this way anyways. It's a safe option. Joe Biden's already been president. He hasn't done anything too terrible to fuck it up. So it's like, go with the guy who's getting charged or the guy who's already president. I'll probably go with him. And then the other left-wing votes are just going to be like, I was going for Ron anyways. So I think either way, this kind of hurts his middle ground to be competitive, because right now his competition isn't Joe Biden, it's Ron DeSantis, because
true.
he's looking to be the Republican nominee
Yeah.
rather than him.
Yeah. I mean, and without you guys know, I know politics at the back, man. That's what my family literally lives on. It's like crack cocaine for them at home. Shout out mom, dad, sister.
Shout out the crack epidemic. It really hit
yeah,
the
shout
it
out-
really hit
shout
the
out-
hood hard.
Shout out Snowfall, if y'all ever watched it. Shout out that show. Shout out but either way, no, I think that, I mean, ever since Donald Trump's been Donald Trump, since The Apprentice, bro, I mean, this guy has had a controversy surrounding him, period. Everything he does is to be in the spotlight. Because, look, I'm not trying to say this guy's an awful man. I'm not going to say that about anybody that I don't know personally. I just see what I see on TV and what I hear. That's it. But, I mean, from what I can see, he's a full-blown narcissist. And this is the best way to get a narcissist going, is for people to start talking about them in whatever light, because they don't care. They're confident enough in themselves. They don't care what people have to say. They know what they have to offer. So, I mean, obviously him not getting arrested, I didn't think it was going to happen anyways. But, I mean, it is a topic that is one of those things, like, it is too big not to talk about. And in the same right, yes, it definitely, I believe, it definitely can hurt his candidacy versus Ron DeSantis, who is a fucking psychopath. Sorry, I don't want to put my political views in it. He's a psycho. Guy's crazy. He might be crazier than my man Trump. I ain't gonna lie to you. But at the end of the day, like you said, the competition isn't Joe Biden. It is Ron DeSantis. And if he can't beat Ron DeSantis, he can't have a rerun against Joe. And we know how people would see Joe Biden now. He's Sleepy Joe. You got all this stuff, falling asleep, tripping up the stairs of the Air Force One.
Yo,
Like, doesn't look
somebody's got to check
capable.
on this man's health, bro. Get him some CT scans. Send him to a neurologist or a radiologist or cardiologist. All the ologists.
You want to know one crazy thing though?
What?
That this isn't like me being a Joe Biden stan, but with his speech, not word on the street. What's been proven is that he has a stutter, and with people who stutter, there's different ways that they try not to stutter. Some people just go with it and they just stutter over the words, so let's say it. But other people, like what Joe Biden does, is when they get to that point where they feel like they're about to stutter, they try to sub the word that they're about to stutter out for another word, and that's where you get those weird jumbled sentences where you get like misspeaks, where he says like something completely wrong. But no, yeah, it's just a thing with all the presidents. They're all old.
Yeah, we need to get some young people in office. That's pretty much.
Hey, we got the best. That's the moral of the story. I think is let me, for the viewers out there, for the folks that are gonna be watching in the future or watching, even tomorrow. I need y'all to not be super deep in the politics, but want to make a change and be a shining light for young folks. Because I believe the minimum age is 35 to run for president. I believe and you don't need any political affiliation. You don't need anything. Just be up there and fucking talk. Get some sponsorships. People will fucking sponsor you. Go to any damn school, any university on the planet, and just act like you believe in the values of most of their student body, and they'll start believing you. But I implore someone to go out there and do something, make a difference, because I'm tired of seeing 75, almost 80-year-old men just sitting in office, just laid up, got nothing to worry about. They're just collecting money for no reason. But I don't want to spend a lot of time on that topic. I thought it was something we did just need to chat about for a second, for sure. But and I'm gonna hit another topic after this, obviously this following one. But I think this is gonna be something that could definitely be controversial, and people are gonna have their own views, and that's what we're here to talk about. So Ciara apparently wore a see-through Vanity Fair dress, and so really, look, Ciara's beautiful. Everybody knows this. She's a beautiful woman, hands down. She also messed with Future and Russell Wilson, two drastically different people.
Completely different.
Completely different, like in all regards.
Like one's over here and the other one's over there.
Yeah, but the question is for you guys, I mean, really, should your partner have a say in what you wear? Like, be mindful here that right now, Russell Wilson is Ciara's partner, whatever you want to call it, married, or I don't pay attention that much to them. But, and to what extent should someone be able to tell you what to wear if that is something you're okay with in your relationship, from the female side or the men's side? So I'll start off with you, Chad. Just get your thoughts, because I know that obviously you're in a relationship now. I think you could definitely directly correlate maybe some of this stuff to it.
I don't know. I consider myself a fashion forward male. Like, look, I got no, this is fucking shit. But but I feel as though rather than your partner telling you what to wear, there should be some common sense or some empathy that you're with someone else, and at least get their opinion on it. I don't know the situation. I don't know if they talked it over, she wore it, or if it was one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm wearing this dress, whether you like it or not, I'm gonna wear it. But I don't know the full extent to the story. It sounds like she wore it. Russell Wilson was not too okay with it.
So it wasn't even Russell Wilson. So kind of what happened is she wore a dress, and it was a theme of the Oscars anyway. So she wasn't the only girl to wear a similar dress. She just so happened to, show all of her goodies, because that's what Ciara does. My goodies, not my goodies. Okay, now let me stop. So she basically wore that dress and she showed everything. But the controversy came from obviously social media and the outsiders looking in rather than the inside coming out, of people saying, your husband's standing right beside you. How could you disrespect your husband and just basically be nude on the Oscars? You should have more respect for what you wear with your husband. And that's where the question kind of opposes, should your partner have a say in what you wear and to what extent?
Coming from that side, then I got two propositions. One, the partner doesn't give a fuck about what they're wearing. So, in that sense, the public should not give a fuck about what they're wearing. They very much well could have. She could have shown him the outfit the night before, be like, "This is what I'm wearing." He'd be like, "Cool." Also, it's not like he wasn't there with her. He was there with her, right there next to her. If anyone tries to make a move, you're fighting Russell Wilson, a conditioned fucking NBA star, NFL star. Wait, who are we talking about?
Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, even worse, a conditioned NFL star. Like if some Joe Schmo's gonna try and make a move, or everyone knows some grody old Oscar guy gonna try and cop a feel. 1-2, dude dead. So I think there has to be that sense of confidence in your girl that she's faithful to you, and that if anyone tries to step out of line and try something, you'll back them up. Not back them up, but back her up. But then let's go from the other point of view of they did not discuss this and she just wore it. In that sense, I go back to my first statement of sometimes you need to have a bit of empathy or respect for your partner and be like, hey, maybe this might make them uncomfortable. Maybe I want to wear this dress, but in a relationship, you're not fighting for yourself anymore. You got someone else to think about. So maybe it's that thought of, hey, I'll sacrifice this dress because I love my partner to make someone comfortable.
Sterling, I kind of let you go next, since you're also in a relationship, kind of see how it would handle in your household.
I gotta be very careful. I gotta be very careful with my
So
words
when I
here.
tell you, step all the way in that bag, son.
No. Yeah. I mean, so look. I mean, obviously, I saw the picture of Ciara and their vanity. I mean, dude, she looked phenomenal, like phenomenal. Which, by the way,
Stunning. Always. She always looks phenomenal.
Well, she got 2 kids now, right?
I don't know.
2. But either way, to look like that after having a kid, even one, props to her. I want to give a round of applause. And for any ladies out there that are listening that are pregnant or been after pregnancy or think about getting pregnant, that's a body goal right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's not shaming nobody. That's just like, that's amazing. But in terms of like how I would respond, or like, should your partner have a say in terms of like what you're wearing, I agree with Chad to a certain extent. Like, yes, you should have some empathy like about one another, but I've also learned from being in a relationship and like understanding like another woman and like how they think. A lot of girls, like, and if you talk to them, like and I want to call them girls, women, they'll tell you, I'm wearing this for myself. I'm really like, I love this dress and I really want to wear it out. I think it makes me look good, like blah 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 blah, that type of stuff, which is awesome. And you want your girl to feel confident, secure, safe. You want her to feel that way. Like, and it goes to the point, like, me personally, I wouldn't want my girl wearing that dress. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Like, I don't care if I'm standing there right beside her ass and I'm a conditioned NFL star. I don't care. Look, girl, like, you got your goodies. Like, you can show a little bit. Like, give them a little tease. Let them know what they're missing, because they ain't gonna get none. But please don't put it all out there. Like, I get it. You want to self-express. You want to like be able to put yourself out there, and I'm all for that. And the dress was beautiful, by the way. But for me personally, if that was my girl, I would just have a very quaint conversation, nothing like crazy to get excited about. Like after that event, or after when we got some time, the next day, and be like, hey, like, I thought you looked great in that dress. Honestly, like, I loved the dress, but it just made me a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm a pretty secure guy, but it's like, I know I've got faith in you, but it's just just like, I can't get over the fact that you're like just showing everybody everything. And I feel like that's more of like a private, intimate thing that you've got to almost hold to. I'm not saying you need to be dressed like a nun, like Jesus Christ. Hope nobody takes that out of context, but
Nuns are hot.
and somebody will. and somebody will take it out of context, but that's completely fine. But I mean, to the extent that like I know, like obviously I'm not like this ripped dude gonna like nothing crazy like that, right? I'm not gonna go, but I also know if I was, I'm not gonna go outside, especially being in a relationship, showing my chest off, like my abs out, like unless I'm at the beach, right? It's a different story. But like I'm not gonna go willingly and do that.
You're
Especially
not
in a
gonna show your
relationship.
chest, bro.
No. I'm saying at like not at the beach. Like at the beach I would. But like it's like I'm not gonna just be like showing my whole because you know how some people like some guys will like have their button downs like
Oh, I love
literally
rocking my
like
button down
this.
like that.
Yeah, I know you
Dude, as
do.
the
I know
night
you
gets
do.
longer, the buttons come down further.
Yeah, and I still try to be somewhat mindful of that because I don't want anybody to think anything different and be like, oh, he's they're being this, that, the other. It's all about image, unfortunately, and like I know a lot of women hate that. It's like, oh, like you think that people like yes, that's what people are thinking. That's what people are thinking. We are dudes. We know how other dudes think, and unfortunately, sometimes they're a little bit more devious than others. I just think that like Chad said, I think you just gotta have a little bit of empathy to a degree, but not like to the extent where it's like, look, girl, you can't wear this. I'm not gonna tell anybody they can't wear anything, but you should know, like in our situation, like this and this isn't necessarily something I'm gonna feel 100% comfortable with, even if I'm the most secure person in the world. So
Yeah, so
that's my thoughts.
I'll give my take from, and obviously I'm the one that's not in a relationship currently, so a single man's take from this perspective. And Chad kind of hit on the big thing for me, but I'll dive a little bit deeper into it. For me, where I think it kind of changes, and yeah, Sierra's dress showed a lot. Like I said, it showed all of her goodies. She left very little up to imagination, but like Chad said, the biggest thing for me is that Russell Wilson was standing right beside her. Personally, where I come from is, wear whatever if I'm there with you. Because if I'm there with you, you're wearing whatever, it really doesn't matter what those guys think, if they try something, blah, 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 blah. We just have to handle that as they handle it. I'm standing right there. So, that's just blatant disrespect regardless. But wear whatever you want with me, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, when would they ever be able to wear those type of outfits and whatnot? But if you're out with your girls, especially if you out with the ones that be out there wild and always trying to do some messed up stuff or get their back broken, you are not wearing that crazy stuff, You're gonna put on a more modest. I don't care if you show a little something like you said, Sterling, but put on something a little more modest. But when you're with me, show whatever. It's all fair game, I wouldn't mind from that standpoint. I'm with you. That's just really showing how secure that we're both with each other, and it's kind of just I'm stunting with my lady. So on that front, I really wouldn't mind. And I think a big piece of this topic, and I know we're kind of more focused on the question at hand more so than what actually happened at that Oscars thing, but there were a lot of other people dressed just like Ciara. Just she might have showed a little bit more than the other females, but I think it was really blown out of proportion. It was the theme of the Oscars of that Vanity Fair,
Yeah.
so she was
Yeah.
right in line with theme. So it was as if they were at a grab-a-date social and they had a theme. She dressed to the theme. So I don't really see like there was any problem on that front, but the big thing for me, like I said, is if you're with me, wear whatever. Obviously, we have those conversations beforehand. If I do feel like something's a little crazy, I'll let you know. Like you said, Sterling, it's not no big deal or anything like that, but it's just like, hey, maybe that doesn't make me feel the best when you wear that. And I do think it's important that if your significant other tells you, hey, that doesn't make me feel better, you don't necessarily always have to stop doing what doesn't make them feel better, but you should pause in the moment, consider what they're saying and how they're feeling, and move accordingly throughout the time. Because if you wear it anyways, then that opens up a thin line where it's like, okay, since you're gonna do what you want to do, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and then where does it stop? So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, and I do want to back it up a bit because I don't want any woman to be watching this thinking, oh, he wants to control it. No, I don't want to control nobody, bro. Like that's like the last. We're both individuals, both adults, right? Like I have no, like once again, like I've already said, I have no say in what you wear. Just want to like voice what I feel because if there was something that you had a problem with and you wanted to tell me, I'd be the same way. I'd be like, all right, like I guess I see where you're coming from, type of idea. And I'm with the same idea. Maybe I was saying the ideology like you're going out with your girls, like look like that, and I'm just chilling at the house or
Oh, that's a
doing
no.
whatever.
Yeah, that's
That can't
not
happen.
flying.
That
That's
can
not
I'm
flying.
sorry. Like and people probably like, oh, that's so unfair. No, bro. Like once again, we are guys. We know how dudes think. And unfortunately, the way the world is and uh the way that things have been going, like if you dress in a like and then you look great too and you dress seductively, you're gonna get treated like a promiscuous woman, and that's just how it is sometimes. And it's not anything like I have no problem with a girl dressing like that. I'm not gonna just go hit on a girl just because she's dressed a little bit different or a little bit more out there than other girls. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some other dudes out there that will definitely think, hey, there's my hint, that's all I needed. And so that's my point on that. I think that she looked great. Russell's right there. Like, I mean, I do agree because I've definitely been with my girl before in the past. She's worn nothing like Vanity Fair. That's insane. But some stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's a little extra. But it's also like I get it because if she's beautiful and she's got she's feeling confident in herself. Hell yeah, do your thing. And I'm just kind of here and honestly, it makes it even more fun for you as the guy. It's like people are looking at her to a degree, and it's like a good feeling almost. So
Me and my
without
girlfriend, we got an
getting
agreement.
beaten.
I'm allowed 4 buttons. I can go down 4 buttons. 5th one's a no-go.
4 buttons. I feel like that's a lot of buttons.
got a
How
lot
many
of
more
buttons.
buttons do you even have?
Well, no, because the
no,
collar
standard.
button counts. So it's like 1,
1, 2, 3,
3,
4
4
buttons
gets
is
me
a
like
lot.
4 gets me like
That's right in your-
deep, yo.
that gets me like right
That's
here,
in-
right
that's
to
in
my
your
like
abs.
sternum.
That's your
That's
abs.
deep. You
No,
might as well do-
that's the
That's
5th
on
button.
4 is deep.
Nah,
I'm usually
bro.
like a 3 guy.
It's
Yeah,
that
3
4th for
that's
when
all-
you're drunk though. Like you'll
No,
do
but
3
if you're
buttons when you're
like
sober.
A wedding, if you're at like a wedding or something, yeah, typically like
I'm
you're
not doing
buttoned
4
up,
buttons
right?
in a
And you-
wedding.
A wedding, yo, 4 buttons is wild. That's foul.
At
that's
a
what I'm
wedding, I'm
saying,
doing
like,
2.
But I'm saying like you start drinking and like you start having fun. Like a 3 button is acceptable. Like everybody's gonna start getting a little loose because the bride and the groom gonna
Yes,
get
the
loose.
4th
Everybody's
one
gonna
is
get
for
loose.
when I'm hammered.
The 4th, you can't be hammered though. You can't be.
We're not
that-
talking
if you're
about
at
a wedding right now.
I'm just
Why are
talking
you
about- I'm
stuck
just
on
talking
this
about in general.
wedding?
Because that's what I think. If I'm wearing a button-down shirt, I'm not gonna wear a button-down shirt just randomly unless it was like a nice flowy shirt.
Wait, but 4 buttons is wild. Why don't you just unbutton the whole thing? Like,
Look at him.
he's about to. So I think we're about to get a live showing of what 4 buttons look like on Chad. We're gonna figure this out right away, right here. So yeah, but anyways, I still think 4 buttons is crazy. That's
Aggressive.
aggressive.
It's
Aggressive. That's deep, man. Just take your shirt off at that point.
That's
Nobody.
like me at a frat party wearing like a Hawaiian shirt frat party. Like you just like, yeah, fuck it, like like put it all out there. Hey, 3 is cool. Like I think 3 is like the classy, but I'm having fun, type of idea.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
All right. So here's the verdict. We're gonna see what we got here.
No, you're right. It's 3.
No. Let's let the people see. All right. So this is 3. All right. Now do the
The
4th.
4th one is okay.
That's aggressive. That's
The
aggressive.
4th one is bad. The 4th one's bad.
That's aggressive, yo. No,
Bro,
yeah.
I hate
on
to
your
say
ass.
it, but dude.
That's aggressive, bro. You can almost
That is
pee out that
so
hole.
It's 3. It's 3.
Nah,
4.
okay.
I was about to say, I'm like 4 is wild, bro. Like,
Yo,
there's
you
only-
can't
the
tell
only
your
button,
girl
like,
nothing if you out here with 4 buttons down.
No.
To be honest, there's
Yeah.
a few times where
4
it's just
buttons.
no button. Just
I would
flipping
prefer
around.
no buttons over 4 buttons. Like 4 buttons, like you ain't got the confidence to do no buttons, but you want to, but you don't have the confidence to.
Nah, but
Oh.
dress. Moral
You know
of
what
the
I'm
story,
thinking?
guys, is
Sorry.
what?
I was saying it's 4 up. 1, 2, 3, fourth button. It's
Up. Okay, 4 up.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3,
Oh, okay.
4.
Now
Yeah.
he want.
Now he want to
Now,
change it. Now
now
he
he
look
want
like
all
a
that.
douche on camera.
Nah, she gonna. You know your girl's gonna get you now. Like, you got 4 buttons down and stuff on there. Will you get trashed? But no, like, moral story is like, wear what you want to wear. Be respectful, especially if you got a partner, to some degree. But I definitely think, once again, I want to reiterate that Ciara looked phenomenal, and
He's spelling name.
Russell is a lucky man. Ciara,
CIA.
CIA. Also, if you look at the picture of them two when she's wearing that dress and him beside her, he looks depressed. So I don't know. And that's not the joke about depression, but he just looked like he didn't want to be there, which is like, all right, bro, like you need to put a smile on your face. You got nice teeth. You might as well flaunt them. But
Which one?
moving on, without,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah, he didn't even see the pic, so that's a whole nother idea. Speaking of people that we've known, through most of our childhood, not necessarily just childhoods, but maybe on the other side of it, not necessarily the music side, but still in the entertainment space, Amanda Bynes.
Crazy.
If y'all remember the Amanda Show, y'all, and I'm sure people have heard about this. I know y'all have heard about this. Amanda Bynes is placed on a psychiatric hold, found roaming the streets naked.
Yo, why you laughing, bro? You sick, dog. You're a sick individual, bro. Nah. You're messed up in the head.
I'm so sorry.
He can't even get it out, man.
So the question I have for you guys, and even in those that are going to be watching as well,
You
ask
need to
yourself
tell
the
us what
same question.
happened.
Yeah, she was found roaming the streets. Now she's with her parents. Now she's like basically got custody with her parent. I can't talk. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Oh God, it's the
Why?
Britney Spears thing all over again.
Why?
Yes.
Yeah.
If somebody else wants to explain the situation better, I can't.
Okay, so yeah, we're fucking sick in the head. This is messed up. All right. So Amanda Bynes was placed on psychiatric hold because she was found roaming the streets naked. And this is not laughing matter, but for some reason we can't stop laughing. But the question here, that we're talking about is, would you want your kid to have to deal with what comes with being a child star? There's something beautiful about being famous when you're a child, but is it worth it? Are you letting your kid do that, or do you want to wait till they become older to hit that fame and become famous? Sterling, I kind of start with you because yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I wanted to justify my laughter. I was just saying that,
There's
like,
no
imagine you see,
justification, by the way.
Amanda.
I
Imagine
hope
you
they
see
tear
Amanda
you up in the
Bynes
comments.
roaming,
Sterling, I'm right there
roaming
with
the
you.
streets,
It's a
but
funny headline.
roaming the streets. Yeah, roaming the streets, and all you think of is Amanda, and just think the Amanda Show. But either way, yeah. So to the point, to the question here, I mean, if we're talking about like child stars, right? You obviously have like Zach and Cody's. You've even got like a little bit like Leonardo DiCaprio,
Zendaya,
Michael Jackson, Justin Bieber, Miley
Justin
Cyrus.
Bieber, Jake Paul, Logan Paul,
Selena Gomez,
Selena Gomez. You got
Brandy
you got a
Love.
plethora. You got a plethora. Demi Lovato. So,
Pretty
like,
much
that
all
was,
Disney and Nickelodeon stars.
yeah. So I wanna put it in the boat here, right? So if I had and one day I hope to have beautiful children, all this jazz, and love for them to be successful in their young age or even in their older age, whatever. But for me to like push my kid into not push my kid, but my kid wanting to be like famous, and maybe they get to that point and they get famous as a child. Understandably so. Like, obviously, when we get to a certain age, we are a little bit more mature and can handle things a bit different. But when you have to grow up really fast, I feel like that's what that's what can happen to you. Like, I mean, Demi Lovato is a perfect example. She obviously had a lot of stuff she was going through, and really, really happy for her to have made it out, okay, and like she's still kicking and doing her thing. But I think when you don't have time to be a kid, like genuinely be a kid, like when we were kids, we used to go outside, play with the neighbors, do out. These kids are going to auditions and going to Hollywood sets on a daily basis to make a show that was making millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars, easy for them, just themselves, without even having a legal license to work, aside from the fact that they were just acting. Like for them to work at McDonald's, would have been too young. So
Yeah,
I I'm
oh
gonna
no,
finish my
you
thought, and I'll
continue,
let you go.
continue.
But no, I wouldn't want my kid to be a child star, even though I know it would bring me money too as a parent. Yes, that's a selfish thing to say, but it's the truth, and I think any parent of a child star is probably thinking the same thing. Like, holy shit, like we barely have to work. Like we work, we make our money, but like our child is making more than us and basically provides for us, even though we're supposed to be provided for them. Um, I wouldn't want my child to be a child star. If they had the talent, if they had everything to go with it, I wouldn't hold them back from doing it. But I would never push them in that direction. Be like, yep, you need to be famous, and it all works out. I want my kid to be a kid, live a similar childhood to what I did, but even in a even better than what I had. And even not saying my situation was bad at all, but just be able to be a kid, because I think that's going to give you genuine time to learn how to appreciate the little things more. And I think when you get to that certain point in your life, like herself, where Amanda is, she's relatively older now than she was when she was really famous. But I mean, she's 36 now. Think about it. She was literally famous at the age of like 10?
Something like that.
Like I mean, 10 years old was like the start of like real childhood, like for us, and also going into like the preteen phase in the next couple of years. So she was while we were going to middle school dances, playing little sports and stuff. She was going to Hollywood sets on a daily basis to make sure her stuff was good after school, before school, during school, whatever it was, to make sure she was on top of her stuff. And I think that can apply to a lot of different child stars, and why they are a bit like, I'm not saying they're all off their rocker, because they're not, but they can't process things the way that we would, I don't think. And I think that can kind of push you over the edge a bit.
I think it's a weird thought to have that there's so many laws in place keeping kids from working jobs until they're like 18. But it doesn't seem to be that way or as strict when it comes to like acting. And at the end of the day, acting is another job. So I think you're right, where it's like there has to be some sort of balance between being a star and being a child. If you take the word as it is, it's a child star. So you see situations like with Michael Jackson where you just take someone's childhood, and then when they grow up and start getting that independence, they yearn for those years that they missed, and they want to start doing those things that they missed out on. And it just kind of fucks them up in the head, and they kind of regress in a certain way while they want to be that child again, but physically they're an adult, so they can't really have it that way. And then you get these weird instances of trying to mix both together. So you can't, for any kid, you can't take away their childhood for famedom. Maybe there needs to be like some sort of rule of like, hey, you get like one show a year, and then that's it. But even then, like one show a year, I'll take out like just 5, 6 months of the year out just for filming and whatnot.
But I feel like I'll let you go to Mike in a second. But I feel like it's very rare. Like Macaulay Culkin, for example, first off, he landed Brenda's song, which makes no logical sense in my head whatsoever. Sorry, Macaulay Culkin, you look like a crackhead. I'm sorry.
Shout out again to the crack
but
epidemic.
yeah, shout out to the crack epidemic. And sorry for anybody that had someone that suffered from that. It's just crazy. But either way, but either way, I wanted to say is because I feel like the kids that did movies like a Leo or like some other folks that were children, maybe aside from Macaulay Culkin, that were in movies are different from the kids that were on TV shows.
Yeah, because
If you know what I'm
TV
saying.
lasts longer.
Yeah, and I feel like as kids we didn't want to really watch. We didn't have the attention span to stay and watch movies. But when it comes to shows, we love watching shows. Like, because it's super short attention span. Because like the way they did it on I knew Nickelodeon, it was like every 7 minutes there was a commercial. So you had 3 commercials per episode. You'd have an episode like 7, 14 minutes, 21 minutes. It let the rest run out, and there'd be a commercial before the next show came on after that. But 3 during the actual show. 7 minute burst of our brain. We had to be focused as a child, which was very doable then. Nowadays, definitely not. That's why there's Netflix, and these kids they can barely even watch that. So that was just my point. I think there's a vast difference between movie stars and child stars as movie stars versus TV stars.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you guys, but I kind of look at it from a different lens or from a different angle, more so. The part that I don't agree with you guys at is the fact that kids need that childhood. I think to an extent they need that childhood, but regardless of what they're doing and how their time's being consumed, the kid's gonna be a kid always. And I think there's plenty of kids who get majority of their childhood ripped away from them, whether it's from stresses of life and just bad situations at all. And I don't think that messes them up or makes them regress as a kid. If not, it makes them mature earlier. Or if it's just kids that were put into a sport or something, they had some talent and the parents work them really hard. And I think that in a way is kind of like taking the childhood away, but I don't think that messes them up either. That kind of builds discipline. I think where it really messes up a kid and why I wouldn't want my child to be famous is really the microscope that they're being put under. And when it's kind of crazy because a lot of kids these days kind of feel that microscope, even though they're not famous, just due to social media. But I think the microscope that they get put under at a young age and all the love and the cherishment and the attention that they seek, those are like all dopamine hits, huge dopamine hits,
Yeah.
and they become addicted to that. And I think that where we see these child stars as they get older, decline and regress is not in them trying to chase their childhood. It's that maybe the career is, dying down and they're no longer seeing that same attention, that same fame that they've grown to known as the norm their whole life. That's where they become crazy and they start doing more extra stuff to
Whoa,
be
you using the
in.
word crazy now?
No, okay, yeah, that's messed up for what we're talking about. I forgot what the main topic was. No, that was messed up. No,
Distraught.
but yeah, that's where they become distraught, and because they're no longer seeking that attention. So it's just kind of like you have the middle child of the family who's always doing the more wild stuff to receive the parents' attention because they're no longer receiving it like they used to be. That's what those famous kids are doing. Justin Bieber's out here. He's doing wild stuff when he was 17. Those are all just attention grabbers. Like, he wants to be back in the news. That's his only way he can grab those eyes again and get all that attention. I think that's where the problem comes in. And also, these kids are growing up and their mistakes are under a microscope. Their relationships are under a microscope. And that's just a lot of pressure in general that really just messes them up.
Gonna make.
Yeah, and it's just really it's too much for a kid to have to deal with, and trying to go through those years where you're figuring yourself out. I mean, everybody goes through those 3 to 4 years where they're really searching for their identity, and they're changing a lot of stuff about them. They're kind of taking more chances, doing more risky stuff, and when you're doing that under such a tight microscope and getting all that scrutiny or praise for those type of things, it can really mess with your head and cause you to not be able to even find what you were looking for. And you never really know your true self because you're always living through the lens of the millions of people that follow you since you were a child.
I also have a
Yeah, I was
conspiracy
gonna make
theory that it's all planned.
It's all planned. What you mean?
Illuminati.
Not the Illuminati. Maybe, I don't know. But I think that the business manager behind all them tells them to act up because it's that thought process as there's no such publicity as bad publicity. So like when you start getting a little low on funds and you start scraping the bottom, like, hey, pull some weird stunt. Because once people start talking about you, your old stuff will resurface. People start watching your old stuff. We'll start getting that royalty check again. And if we just get these subtle influxes of engagement, every now and then, it just keeps on. It gives you a sustainable living.
Yeah, I'm
I do think
firing my
there's
manager if he tells me to beat up Rihanna. 'Cause that did not work out for Chris Brown.
Nah,
no. I
we
think
already
I
have
think there
one
are
screwed up.
outliers in there, but uh, even like Logan Paul, like I think that most of his stunts were kind of planned of like, hey, this is gonna be controversial, this is gonna be bad, but people are gonna talk about me, and I'm gonna start getting that money again. People are gonna start looking at me again and clicking on the videos. I'm getting the views. I'm getting that commission and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big like Michael hit the nail on the head. That's the point I was going to make is I feel like they're not allowed to make mistakes because they are under such a very high zoom on that microscope because like everything that you and I did as kids because we all made mistakes. We continue to make mistakes as adults. So I mean it's like 100% okay. But when you are under that microscope of fame where it's like if TMZ gets you,
And they
they
always
got
get
you.
you.
We
And they
got him.
always get you. We got them, guys. And I actually, and if for some reason somebody watching this doesn't know who TMZ is and all the stunts and the scandals they've had, please do some research because I promise you, you will literally be baffled at the type of stuff that they can find just by doing their jobs on a daily basis. Um, but no, I think when you're not allowed to make mistakes, but like you make mistakes, and like people like either one they downplay it because you're famous like you might have a really good like manager or agent that can like push stuff off and like keep stuff out of the news or keep it out of the news cycle for a long time so then you can kind of make sure your image is at the place it needs to be when it does come to light or they overhype it and it becomes detrimental to your own mental health at a very young age because I feel like as a young kid like you don't mental health isn't really a thing because you have like really no stress like just to be honest as long as your life isn't like super crazy where you're having a bunch of stuff going on but even at that you still have less stress than a full-blown adult and I
That
think
is
when they get I was going to say when they get stressors in their lives I think that can be one of the biggest triggers for them to act a bit different and to go on these have these episodes and episodes happen to a lot of people that aren't famous but it's just the fact that you're already famous like Kanye if he wasn't famous nobody would know that he was just out in the street acting a fool same thing with Amanda Bynes nobody would give a fuck they would just think she's a random ass girl in LA that's just cracked out of her mind right now shout out crack epidemic so either way you take
We
it
should
as you
get sponsored
will.
by the crack.
Hey, Franklin Saint, shout me out, bro. Please. Please. Damon Idris. I need it. Um, but no, I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts on that. I know it's a bit crazy. The conservatorship, I can't even really say it right.
the
We don't want to see one
conservatorship.
of those again. Yeah, we don't want to see another one of those like it was with Britney because that shit was
Is
crazy.
that what just happened though?
Um,
Her
No.
parents got custody. Oh, they just got custody.
She's just in a psychiatric hold.
Oh, okay.
So she's like,
yeah, but I just feel like the next steps for them would be doing something like that, which is scary.
hopefully not. But or
Because
hopefully she has good parents that it's like not too big of a deal.
she's 36 years old, bro. Like I didn't even know she was that damn old until I just looked it up. But like that's wild. And I mean, honestly, I hadn't heard a damn thing about Amanda Bynes since. Damn, I don't even know. I really don't even know. I genuinely don't remember the last time I heard anything about her aside
I
from.
think I heard her. She was acting up again though, like a few years ago.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
she's had a couple stunts. I think that's why they put her in there because she's had a she's had her
This isn't
3
the
strikes.
first time.
Couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you walking naked in the street, I'm sorry that I laughed, but bro, like you're naked in the streets. I can't like if I walk
Somebody
outside
was
right
like, "Yo, I feel bad for Amanda though, but who got the leak?"
now, who got no leak? Exactly.
He's
I'm
like,
not
"Where
gonna
can I
I'm not
find the
gonna
leak?"
Oh my
like
god.
I'm taking a pic, sending that straight to TMZ. They paying me out, easy money. Like ain't no way that shit. Like it's just. I feel bad, I do, but I think that if you are a child star right now or you're a person that's been a child star like you've got to take it upon yourself to realize like I've got to find my dopamine hit somewhere else working out doing some type of hobby shit if it's drugs which most of them go to anyways just naturally because they're in Hollywood do that like you're probably better off doing that than fucking having a damn psychiatric breakdown.
I
mean, just
hate
But
to say
I
it, but
don't
I
think
think
people-
that there might be drugs playing a factor in someone running naked in the street.
I also don't think they've
Hey.
ever had like, should I hit this crack or have a psychiatric breakdown?
It's probably, I just hit this crack and now I'm having a psychiatric breakdown.
It's that
Oh
Franklin
my
Saint
God.
pack, bro. It's the best shit.
The Franklin
It's from the
Saint
United States.
fact.
Yo, we
It's
get
the
the
best
10K
shit, I'm telling you.
subscribers. We here at After Dark will try some.
You heard it here first.
Nah, if you see me, I don't even. People think I'm cracked out when I'm just drinking. I don't even want to try crack. I be on some fucking other shit for real. But yeah, let's not beat a dead horse. I mean, just to kind of back it up here, guys. I know that like we could kind of talk a lot about a bunch of different stuff. Let's talk on a little lighter note to a degree. Back to the music side of things because I love music. I think we all love music because you kind of have to have it to live. By the way, if you don't listen to music in the car, you are a sociopath.
My radio's broken.
Yeah, you're a sociopath.
I listen to
Get a speaker.
podcasts in the car.
Well, music. If you don't have sound on in your car,
Okay, there you
you're
go.
a psycho.
Dude, I'm
So,
just having a psychiatric breakdown, don't judge.
From that crack that I smoked before I got in my car.
Don't judge me, bro.
So, guys, I mean, like, I'm sure you guys had heard, or if you didn't hear, just to let our viewers know and everybody else, I mean, The Weeknd apparently was named the most popular artist in the world just recently, specifically after he dropped his revamped song of Die For You, featuring the automatic feature for him, Ariana Grande. It hit up, I believe,
That can keep him with his
11.
voice.
True.
Yeah, 111 monthly listeners he hit last month, I believe, or in the last month, and so which made him the most popular artist in the world. So I wanna put this point across just to give you some perspective. If you guys don't know that song, it has the girl from Squid Game. Can't remember her name. It's hard to say, and I don't want to butcher it and be disrespectful at all. Had the girl from Squid Game in the music video. It's Out of Time. Listen to that song and watch the video if you haven't. That's on the Korean side, just to let you guys get that out there. But the question is The Weeknd really at the peak of his game right now? Or is this just more of a recency bias that he is getting these type of hits at such a high rate at this moment in time over the past easily over the past 3 to 6 months. So I want to start with you, Mike, just because I know like you probably have some thoughts just off the rip when you hear Weeknd's the most popular artist in the world. But I want to let you lead it off, see what you think.
Yeah, so to your specific question, The Weeknd's absolutely at the peak of his game, and his transcendence through his career is really impressive, and one that I wish that Chris Brown would have done with his career. So The Weeknd came in with R&B and soul, and he was really an R&B artist, and he's kind of have the best of both worlds with versatility that most artists aren't really given the opportunity to do or don't really have the talent to do. The only one we've seen really is Chris Brown on the male stature, because The Weeknd came in with a bunch of R&B hits. My favorite song back in high school is The Hills. I still think that's one of the greatest drops on all of R&B like history. I think that song's amazing. But he can go on some of the biggest artists with some of your biggest rappers. He's got a lot of hits with Future and Drake, and then he really lately in his last trio of albums transcended to a pop star. And I personally think that's where a majority of his discography is going to live from now on. I know that he'll give us a touch of R&B, a touch of hip hop here and there, but I think from now on he's going to live and die by the pop, and which is the same thing that I wanted Chris Brown to do with his career, because I feel like if Chris Brown would have transcended over to the pop and stayed in that area, I feel like he too would be one of the biggest artists, alive at the moment. But as far as him being the most popular artist in the world, I just don't see it. I really don't see it. I think that, he's definitely top 5, absolutely. Just off the top of my head, artists that, I personally feel like have a little more pull than The Weeknd. I think
Like who?
I think Bad Bunny's got more pull than The Weeknd. I think Drake's got more pull than The Weeknd. I think Taylor Swift's got more pull than The Weeknd. I think even though Bruno only comes every 5 years, if he was dropping music as often as The Weeknd was, I think he's got more pull than The Weeknd does. And then that's where I think The Weeknd comes in right after Bruno. So I get it. It's monthly listeners. They're basing off of Spotify. I don't think that, streams are everything when it comes to pool. I also look at culture, how you're affecting how the kids move. If you're going across country, how do those people see you? But I also got to give him his props because The Weeknd is the truth, man. He is really the truth. And I never saw him being one of these artists in that position back in the day. I thought he was super talented, super awesome doing R&B, but I just never thought that he could transition to pop and become a top 5 artist in the world. So all power to you, but I just don't see you being the most popular artist out there right now.
Let me just prove all of what you just said, Michael. Okay, so first of all, we got Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's too new to the game. He could be The Weeknd, but his early discography was heavy rap, and that's not going to get every side of the genre. Next up, Taylor Swift. She's good, but she's fallen off, and she primarily only pulls women. No. A lot of girls listen to her. She has not captivated the male audience. Who else did you say? Bruno Mars. As you said, he doesn't release music enough, but Bruno Mars caters to the R&B soul thing, and that's not going to get the white crowd either.
What?
So
24 Karat Magic?
That's just one song, though.
No, that whole album, bro, is like he lived 3 years off of one album.
Then you got The Weeknd. The Weeknd. Men love him. Women love him. Doesn't matter what race you are. You love him. What we're thinking of is the American audience, but The Weeknd is massive in Europe. And there's so many more people over. I don't think there's so many more people over there, but there's a lot of people over there.
In Europe, yeah, there is.
We're listening to The Weeknd. So I think that's where he pulls most of.
You think he's bigger than Drake?
In the European market? Yes. Drake tries to be too many peoples.
Cook this man real quick, Sterling, and then I'm about to get in the pan. I'm about to have my wrist fumbling, That pistol's about to be popping like it's sitting in a skillet, yo.
And also The Weeknd's features. The Weeknd's features also brings in more audience.
Sterling, cook this man real quick. Please tell me you're gonna cook this man. If you cook me, bro, I'm coming for both y'all's neck.
So, to kind of walk in the direction that you were walking in a bit, Mike, when it comes down to it, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent, Chad, to a certain extent, right? Not fully, not even near fully. But I understand where you're coming from. Let's just be 100,000% honest, bro. Die For You came out 3 years ago, right? Let's talk about this one song. Die For You came out 3 years ago. It was by itself. By himself, it was a great song. I enjoyed the song. I think if you're in a bad mood, low key, if you just broke up with your girl, your boyfriend, whatever, you're banging it, and it's easy and it's relatable. Secondly, then he revamps the song and puts Ariana Grande on it. He sings the same fucking lyrics, bro. There's nothing different about the song. That's what a fucking remix is. No, the thing is, no, not always with remixes. Not always. But he sings the same lyrics and he puts Ariana Grande on for 35 seconds, by the way. And her verse was great. I was kind of mad because I'm low-key an Ariana hater. Sorry, Ariana. What? I think your voice is amazing. Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
That's a topic for another day.
I don't think she's a great person.
That.
Person?
Yeah. I don't think she's a great person. No, she's not a good person at all. I think she's very manipulative. But okay. Either or. But to say that he's not the most popular, I mean, he has been on this upward trend for a long time. Like, I remember, I think late 2021, early 2022, he was still popping off. I can't remember what was dropping, what was going on. But I think even with Heartless in the past, 3 or 4 years, for someone to change a genre and become, like Michael said, a more pop side of it and go from R&B soul type of idea and succeed like he has, that is not only true talent, but that is pull. That's pull, bro. And pull is popularity. He is known across the entire globe. I told you, bro. He had a music video with that girl from Squid Game who is a beautiful woman, and a music video that popped off. The song was great, and he automatically grabbed the Korean population automatically without even having to do anything. He could do K-pop right now, and they'd be banging it in Korea. They sure would. South Korea be like, and they banging it out. For you to say that he's bigger than Drake is crazy though. I'm gonna be 100% with you. Like that man Drake. Like, do you see my girlfriend and her friend got tickets to go see Drake in Atlanta? Let me tell you something, bro. Those shits were pre-ordered tickets. They were not pre-ordered. Pre-ordered tickets. They were pre-sale. I'm sorry. Them shits. It took like an hour of just re-clicking, refreshing, selling out at record rates. Record. I agree
Let me
with you.
guess,
Taylor
they're on
Swift.
Ticketmaster.
I don't know. I didn't look. But either way, like I agree with you when it comes to the Taylor Swift thing. She only targets women. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I think she's got some good catchy songs that You Belong With Me, all that shit like we know from our childhood or like our younger days. But like, bro, she's not the one. She's not it. Drake is it. Drake is it. I said this the other day. I said, if my parents know Drake and know his music and can
Your
sing
parents
his music,
know The Weeknd.
my parents don't know The Weeknd like that, bro. They don't know The Weeknd like that.
Let me ask
If my
both
mom,
you guys, please.
Where Drake fell off with that whole scandal about him not writing his own lyrics.
But that's been disproven.
it's been disproven, but I'm telling you, it's blasphemy for you to say that The Weeknd is more popular than Drake. Drake literally is an international superstar. The man literally hops on any track, anything you do, and it's going to be the most played song on an album. I talked about this the other day. It will always be the most played song on the album, even if the song is ass, bro. I promise you, it will always. And that is the craziest thing to me. He put out Creepin' it's a sample from a 90s song because everybody knows the song already. It's easy to gravitate to. He does that a lot. His samples, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, with The Weeknd samples, The Weeknd is one of the most talented artists in the world. I believe that with 100%, no doubt. But he doesn't know how to, like, he is not going to make, like, I don't want to say he's not going to make new sound. Like, and that's where popularity comes from, is when you're building something new. And
Drake
people are
doesn't
saying,
make
like,
new
I fuck
sound.
with it.
Oh,
Yes, he does,
put me
bro.
in, coach. Put me in. Please put me
All
in.
right, Mike.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm about to fry you.
Okay, deep fry me.
Whoa. Pause. All right. All right. So we are not going to, first of all, let me start off with Drake, since that's what you were talking about, Sterling. Drake absolutely created a new sound. Drake made it cool to sing and rap. He was the first person to do melodic rap and harmonize over a beat. He was also the first person to be vulnerable about the way he feels about females on a beat, which is absolutely the whole genre of rap today and the sound that is created from. And when we talk about The Weeknd's transition from R&B to pop, we also got to remember Drake made that same transition from rap to pop. Hotline Bling, all those songs that we love so much, Passion Fruit, those songs are global hits that a rapper created those songs. Like, imagine that type of transition from rapping to singing. So Drake has absolutely transcended the hip hop game, and everything he touches is gold. Your favorite artist's number one song in their discography is a Drake feature. Let's be honest, every single time. Now, if we're going to talk about Bad Bunny, I get it. It's early, but are we really about to sit here and say Bad Bunny don't have global pull? We really about to sit here and say Bad Bunny? He's out here breaking records on tours and everything like that. We're gonna act like he don't have global pull. He's literally global. He literally he hit US last. We were the last to get Bad Bunny. He already done touched the whole globe before we hopped on the Bad Bunny wave, which is a topic for another day of artists, in the UK or on the other parts of the globe, transcending global music and hitting United States last, because the US is honestly taking L's when it comes to artists. You know, we're not producing big time artists like outside countries. Now, I get Taylor Swift only makes music for women and kids. We got to be honest, it's kids too. But we see what Taylor Swift does anytime she drops. She's over here repurposing albums with the same songs from her old discography because Scooter Braun owns them now, and she wants the masters and she wants the credit for it. She's dropping old albums. They're hitting number one. This, like, we can't, like, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan either, but we got to be real with ourselves. She is absolutely a megastar. Billboard named her the artist of the decade. So, and she's been doing this since we were kids. We're talking about child stars. It's literally, I can't even remember a time where Taylor Swift wasn't dropping hits. Now we're going to go to Bruno. Bruno's 24 Karat Magic album is the biggest album out of anything that the Weeknd doesn't have a lick of his discography that even touches that album, that even touches that track. You know, like, I just want you to, like, remember how big that track was. It's literally playing everywhere. Like, literally, the reason why Bruno takes 5 years is because he only needs to drop 8 or 9 tracks, and he can live off that bitch for 3-5 years, and he doesn't have to come back. He don't need this music. Like, he's literally so big, and it's crazy. But, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, talking down on the Weeknd and shitting on the Weeknd, because I'm a huge Weeknd supporter. And like you said, Sterling, with his samples, he did a cover of Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson that's absolutely fire and it's sick. You should check it out if you don't know it. It's DD is what it's titled. But the Weeknd's amazing, man. But we can't jump all these other artists that I just think have more pull and have been doing it longer, and have transcended the game in so many ways. You know, so no disrespect to the Weeknd. Hey, my boy Abel, ain't no hate on this side. I'm just keeping it 100.
Abel, if you see this, just know that I was here for you. I was supporting you. You can give me tickets to the show. I won't take either of these two.
Yeah, Chad will be out there with all 4 of his buttons down.
I'll be out there, all 4 of my buttons down. I'll have Michael's brother with me, and I'll have Sterling's sister there, and I'll be like, yo, guess what?
What?
Yeah, I'm taking all your family members with me, and not you two. Mom,
Right,
Dad,
let me just break
I'll
down.
even call up your
Let me just
uncles and
break down.
aunts.
That's gonna be a lot. Well, let me break something down for you so I can kind of put this to bed really quick. In terms of popularity, popularity can be it fluctuates. It definitely does, right? And we know that when it comes to popularity, like when you're in school, music, anything, it's gonna always change. It's just depending on what's going on in the world, right? Let me shout the Weeknd out. Yeah, he's got 111 million plus monthly listeners on Spotify, just Spotify, right? But if I look back into the decades of the 2010s, which is 2010 to 2020, right? This is like right as the end of 2019. That's when the Weeknd started being more poppy. 18, 7, like he started rolling into it. He didn't like jump into it. He rolled. Drake is the number 1 artist of the decade in terms of streams with 28 billion, bro. There are almost 8 billion people in the world. I think there is now, actually. Shout out to China. And for you to say that, like, it was a bit disrespectful, because I like we both said we love the Weeknd, but I mean Drake. Like this literally Drake could go to fucking Australia, or not even Australia. He could go to goddamn Nigeria right now, and them shits would sell out just as fast as they did in the US.
Man, that's fucking...
Yo, Drake's been running the game since he's been prepping
That's
13-year-old
that
Millie
motherfucker.
Bobby Brown.
So I just want to let that be known. Bad Bunny is he is setting crazy record numbers. Crazy.
Dude, the
And
Bad
let
Bunny
me just-
concert was what got Mexico into suing Live Nation for their ticket scamming.
Oh yeah, that's what.
I see them on TikTok. I see Live Nation every single other ad on TikTok. So they it don't matter what the fuck they do. It doesn't matter what the fuck they do. Just that's a topic for another day. But I wish that people would give the respect to the Weeknd as he sees fit. Obviously not number one in my eyes as popularity. I think he's obviously crazy talented. And for anyone that says otherwise, you are faded as fuck. You must be smoking that Franklin
That
Saint,
good.
that
That-
good
Oh,
shit.
that Franklin say shout out to the crack epidemic once again.
I'm telling you right now.
I might
So-
just make that the title.
Shout out to the crack.
Yeah, put that down and hold on to that for a bit. I don't know if you guys have any further thoughts on it. I definitely think we've hit a few things. But so this is tough. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't have any further thoughts. I don't know about you guys, but honestly, Sterling, I think that was a hell of a mic drop. Guys, for anybody out there listening, we got to get the YouTube subscriber up. So here's what we're going to do. If we can get to 50 subscribers, I'm going to let Sterling and Chad decide what I eat live on the podcast. It can be wild, it can be crazy, but it can't be too wild or too crazy. But they're going to decide what it is. It might be a fish, it might be a cricket, it might be some disgusting food, but they're going to decide what I eat live on the podcast. All you got to do is get us to 50 subscribers. You hear it? Just 50. That's it might be crack.
Dude, wait, it's actually
and
kind of
it-
crazy you
yeah.
said the crickets thing, dude. I actually found some crickets.
Oh, it might be crickets then, people. For the fellas out there listening, listen, they only want a 1% man, so quit your bitching and get your bread up. To the ladies out there listening, move on, sweetie. He doesn't love you, but it's okay because you're still beautiful and powerful and will always love you. Until next time, it's the After Dark Podcast. We out!